Let's bring in Shahar Azira. He is the Executive Director of the Northeast region of Stand With Us. Shahar, thank you for being with us.
Pleasure.
Shahar, what are the consequences here of this now being designated as an endangered Palestinian World Heritage Site?
Well, let's talk for a minute about what happened. This is another Unesco fiasco, and the big story here is about stolen narratives, the attempt to undermine the Jewish nature of the State of Israel, to create an understanding that Israelis are no more than just colonial occupiers, and the Palestinians are the indigenous inhabitants of the land. Now, this has wide-ranging ramifications, not only in the narrow sense of the world, because there will be no implementation of this UNESCO resolution. However, it will resonate in the BDS movement's demonstrations against Israel and in other arenas, and this is why Israel has decided not to take these lies lying down.
Well, Shahar, given that this site, the forefathers and foremothers of Judaism, of Israel, are believed to be buried here, so how can it be justified that there are no Jewish links? At the very least, why would it not be designated as some kind of a joint World Heritage Site?
Absolutely, Michelle. This is an insult to archaeologists, to historians. This is an insult to Jewish memory. This is an insult to the truth. And here is the big question. This goes far beyond the Israeli-Palestinian issue. UNESCO is a specialized agency of the UN that's funded by public funds, by taxpayer funds. Now, its mission statement on their websites clearly states building bridges for peace and dialogue. And look at this deed, and not only this resolution, not only does it stray away from their mission, it undermines their vocation, and there has to be consequences for their deeds. And if we do not defund the agency or give the message that there has to be a profound significance to what happened today, there will be ramifications, for there are people out there who are in dire need of international services, where the money squandered here could be well spent on World Heritage with the ISIS destruction of monuments in Iraq and beyond. The world has to take a stand on this issue, and this is why it's so aggravating to see and so frustrating, because this could have been used, you're right, as a bridge for understanding, to work together, not to alienate Israelis and Palestinians.
So what kind of action would you like to see being taken, and by whom?
Well, UNESCO has been able to go down this slippery slope since 2011 with impunity. That must end. There has to be a clear message sent by the United Nations, by the international community, that in this current form, UNESCO can no longer exist. It has to cease and desist from these actions. Otherwise, UNESCO will have to be either completely null and void or reformed to the core, so that it can no longer be the playground for extremists.
Well, keeping in mind, I mean, if you look at some of the countries that are members there, you've got Cuba, which is an oppressive regime. You've got Zimbabwe, which is also a power-grabbing, oppressive government. And here you have these countries making these kind of decisions. So given this, and given the broader picture that this is not the first incident against Israel, how does this paint the legitimacy of the United Nations as a whole? Do you think it discredits it?
Discredit would be a problematic word to use, since I don't think UNESCO has any credibility left that needs to be discredited. It's completely
but the
eradicated.
United Nations
as a whole, this is an incredible, this disparages the notion of creating an international community, and that's why I repeat the point of this UNESCO fiasco brings about a larger question of what to do in an international system where dictatorships like Zimbabwe and Cuba dictate the agenda on such important issues and hijack it from people who are truly in need.
Right. It's a very questionable use of funds, to your point. Shahar Azira, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Michelle. Thank you.